Breaking news. The San Francisco 49ers are trading Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys at the NFC East. Why the Dallas Cowboys? Why? I'm rooting for Trey Lance. And I do not want to root for Trey Lance when he's wearing that Cowboys star on his helmet. Gosh, and it's crazy. My big brother, he's a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. Diehard. As soon as I saw the news, he calls me, Croc, we got him. And they do got him. Welcome, everybody. My name is Eric Crocker. I am your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back. And, of course, here we are talking about Trey Lance he's moving on to Dallas. And the moment I saw it, first of all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Like and subscribe this video.
All that good stuff. All right. But I saw the trade happen. And the first thing I thought was perfect spot for Trey Lance, because and this is why. A lot of people think that you're supposed to trade him somewhere, and it has to be somewhere that he has to play right now, and he has to excel right now, and he has to be able to, beat out this other starting quarterback, whoever that is, wherever he's at. And that is not the case. Trey Lance doesn't have to go and beat somebody out. All he has to do is go somewhere where he's going to be able to get reps in practice. He's not going to get reps as the QB3 for the San Francisco 49ers. Like, let me tell you how this stuff works. Being at the practices, being in the NFL, seeing how it works. The starting quarterback, he's getting all the reps. The second string quarterback, he might get a few. But outside of that, the second string quarterback is doing the scout team as well. So when you look at Trey Lance and his situation and kind of what he needs for him, he needs to be somewhere where he's going to be able to, one, get those reps that are needed for him to really take that step in the right direction. Listen, I got a whole lot of chaos going on around me. If y'all can't see, wife running around in the background, daughter running around in the background. All right, but so they're going. Here we go. We can settle down now. Trey Lance in the preseason so far has completed 76% of his passes. And everybody acts like this guy is just the worst quarterback ever. It is the wildest thing ever. All right, it's the wildest thing ever. I've never seen anything like this where everybody dumps on a player with so little experience and just says, this is exactly what he is. No, all of you motherfuckers is wrong. All right, I'll tell you what Trey Lance is. Trey Lance is a guy that literally, more than anybody we've ever seen, just needs live reps. He has shown the ability to do everything that you need him to do at the quarterback position. Make reads, look off safeties, make the right checks. He's very smart. He's a hard worker. He does all of those things right. Unfortunately for 49ers, the things that he needed, which is, hey, can I just get these live reps? He wasn't going to get it there. So can he potentially go somewhere where down the line that might be the case? And I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys situation is with Dak Prescott, but I do know one thing. Myself and my guy, Vish said, man, he reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. They are very similar in a lot of ways. The difference is Dak Prescott isn't in an offense like the Dallas Cowboys. It's crazy because I just had this conversation with somebody. Dallas Cowboys isn't in Dak Prescott is not in an offense like the 49ers. All right. He's not in an offense like the 49ers. And that helps Dak, right? Because Dak doesn't have to be somebody that he's not in the Dallas Cowboys offense, at least to the extent of what I've seen so far. All right. It's not this, hey, we're going to, play action pass, drop back, and just, okay, all of a sudden you got to get the ball out, timing, rhythm, hit, it has to be a perfect pass, hit this guy in stride so he can have a terrific run after catch opportunity. That hasn't been the Dallas Cowboys offense. That is the 49ers offense, and that's difficult, and I think it takes a certain skill set to do those things. Now, if you do it wide open, you're going to be hitting guys and all that. But if that's not necessarily what your strength is, then you might struggle, and you might have ups and downs. And when I watched Trey Lance, he was so hit and miss because he had the ability to make all these throws, and he'd do this and he'd do that, but then there might be something that's going a little too fast for him, a little too fast for somebody who has not gotten the live reps. So everybody wants to down this kid. Everybody wants to get down on him, and I get it. That's just how this media stuff goes nowadays. But Trey Lance, man, I think he's going to a terrific spot for him. Hopefully, he at some point gets some live reps. And if he gets those live reps, I think you can see him turn into a potentially good quarterback. Potentially. Now, again, just like anybody else, you never know. And I don't know for certain with Trey Lance. But I do know one thing. With his work ethic, with his ability, if he just gets the reps, I think it's going to come together. They haven't even given it a chance. The 49ers didn't give it a chance because it has not matched their timeline. He had one opportunity, and it's the wildest thing ever. You've never seen this for a guy who you traded a ton up for the 3rd overall pick. And maybe people could say, well, in practice, this and that. I've been to practices. He looked good. I've been to the practices. So you can't say, and I'm not saying this like, oh, man, ask anybody. Ask anybody. At least this year, this is the best version of Trey I've seen in practice. That's not the issue. Practice this year wasn't the issue. The issue was in the games, right? Again, he completed 67% of his passes. And we're not talking about just all these little check downs or screens. He hit all levels of the field. His biggest issue was every once in a while, I just have this really ugly play. And I think that was too ugly for Kyle Shanahan. And it's like, nah, I get a little bit more steady play and Sam Darnold. So I'm going to stick with that. All right. So again, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and you're in here right now, I want to let you know this about what I think of Trey Lance. I think he's a terrific talent. I think he has a lot of ability. He's very smart. But from high school to college to the NFL, he just has not seen the live reps the way that is needed. And if somehow he can get those live reps, he can definitely turn into something. At least I'd have to see that before I write him off like the rest of the media has. Because that shit has been wild and something I've never seen before. I have never seen it. A guy who, with so few opportunities, we're talking about 4 starts. 4 starts. And it's like, he can't do this. One of which was in the monsoon. The other one, he only played 1 drive. And another one, he actually won, which was a key game for the 49ers to make the playoffs. If Trey Lance doesn't complete 70% of his passes, throw for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns against Houston, they don't make the playoffs. That game never happened, though, I guess. Oh, because he didn't look great in his first start ever against a red-hot Arizona Cardinal team on the road? The way he's been written off is wild. The narrative surrounding him is wild, even more wild. And the way that Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers handled this situation is by far the worst I've ever seen. It's by far the worst. So I'm rooting for him, and I hate that I'm rooting for him because now he's a Dallas Cowboy, and I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. But the kid in San Francisco, it just wasn't going to work. What he needed and the timetable of this team, which is a championship caliber team, which Dallas is too, but the 49ers didn't even want him to be the backup quarterback because they brought in Sam Darnold. And that was a setup from the jump. That was a setup from the jump. From the jump. We should have known. It ain't about practice. They'll tell you, well, 49ers have seen more from him. He's looked good in practice. Listen to guys like Matt Mayoko. Or it was either Mayoko or Barrows. One of them wrote an article for The Athletic or whatever. No, it was Mayoko because it's not The Athletic. It was CSNBC or whatever. Mayoko wrote the article. This is the best version of Trey Lance that we've seen. Now, again, in the games, he had some low moments. And I think those low moments is what Kyle Shanahan held on to. And because of those low moments that he had here and there, it's like, nope. Need somebody more ready right now. Sam Darnold, even though he has started 55 games and damn near 90 turnovers or whatever the hell it is. And, we've seen him lose. And now we're going to go with that over the potential development of Trey Lance, who all he needs to do is play. So you'll see guys like Bomber T, who's been saying this the whole time. Trey is a bust. All right. Guess what? We'll find out. And Trey is the only person that anybody has ever labeled a bust after 4 starts. The only person that's ever been labeled that. So why? I don't know. Why is it Trey Lance? Quincy Carter, I was talking to my brother the other day. Quincy Carter got more action than Trey Lance. Quincy Carter. I haven't seen anything like it. 4 starts and he's a bust, I guess. Fields was never the guy. Fields holds on to the ball too long. Kyle Shanahan won't like that. Fields can't even, he can barely pass right now. He wins with his legs. He doesn't even win. He has 2 more wins than than Trey Lance. And Trey Lance has only played 4 games. So good luck to Trey Lance in Dallas. I'm still rooting for him, even though I'm not rooting for Dallas, but I'm still rooting for Trey Lance. I see Broncos Stampede, Dak Prescott competition. This is not a competition. That is Dak Prescott's team. That is Dak Prescott's team. Start getting to these super chats. I see the super chats rolling in. We got Miguel here. The 49ers are going 8-10 this season. They are officially a effing joke. F Kyle and Jet York. 49ers are not going 8-10 this year. The 49ers will win a lot of games. First of all, I think there's only 17 games you can play. But 17 games. So yeah, 17. 49ers are going to be a playoff team. They're going to be contenders regardless of the Trey Lance situation. I think people have to be able to kind of remove the how you feel about Kyle in this situation and how Kyle has been throughout the rest of his time with the San Francisco 49ers, because he's been terrific. So this is one blemish, and I think he wants his quarterbacks to be a very specific way. He loves guys like Nick Mullins, loves Brock Purdy, he loves that style of quarterback. Trey Lance, not quite his cup of tea. Dak Prescott probably wasn't his cup of tea. Now, I bet you if Kyle sees it, then it's like, hey, this guy could play. Let me bring him over here because I see what he's done at the NFL level. He could probably do that. But outside of that, I don't know. He doesn't really think too far ahead. And that's what everybody has said. I want a new coach if Kyle doesn't win the Super Bowl this year. We can't be that dramatic. All right, Abraham. And Abraham, I understand. I know we want that ring. We want that ring. I understand. But Kyle is a damn good coach. He might not be great at developing a talent and really, truly having the patience to give that guy what he needs. He might not be that guy, but he is a good coach. He is a good coach. Come on. What the hell, Croc? The one team I not want him on. Niners look stupid right now. Shanahan better win. This will come back to haunt us. Good luck, Trey. I'll tell you this, man. As long as Brock Purdy is who Kyle thinks he is, then you'll be fine. And if Brock Purdy does what he did last year, I think you'll be fine. If there's a drop off, then it might get a little weird. It might get a little weird. Here we go. We got Steve here. He says, hate the Dallas Cowboys. This is stupid. Yeah, Steve. Why Dallas? My brother, I'm telling you, the homies, they all blow my phone up right now. We got one fast. Yami, he says, this is Charles Haley 2.0. The whole playbook just went to the Dallas Cowboys. Fired Kyle. He's the best. I don't think Kyle really cares about a playbook going somewhere else or anything like that, because he can probably tell you, but the way he sets plays up, like I don't think he runs this crazy, well-versed offense in the sense of like play calls. It's not like he has 1,000 different plays and like you see that one look and then you're going to know exactly what he's doing. Kyle actually shows you looks on purpose. So he's going to show you the look. And then as soon as you think it's going to be that again, then he counters and does something else. So he's still going to be able to do that, whether somebody has an idea of his plays or not. But you don't want Charles Haley 2.0 or Deion Sanders. And Trey Lance not Charles Haley or Deion Sanders. Love the Niners, but hate the way they treated Trey. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, there's different ways to look at it. And listen, I'm trying to cover all my, dot my I's, cross my T's with all this. I don't think he was treated. I don't think he was treated poorly. I just think ultimately what it came down to is what he needed. The 49ers weren't in position to give him that. That's at least what it feels like to me. And ultimately, if you're just tuning in, got 900 of y'all, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. What Trey Lance needed was just the live reps. That's it. In the preseason right now, they act like it's this terrible, most worst thing ever. And I just watched Anthony Richardson complete 6 out of 17 passes. And they act like Trey Lance did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, he hasn't. He's completed 67% of his passes. The issue is within the 67% and the good throws or whatever, there are these very low moment throws. And when I look at those low moment throws, I have to ask myself, is it him? Is that what he's always going to be? Or could the game potentially be moving a little fast for him because he just hasn't seen it a whole lot yet? And over time, can it slow down? Which one is it? Or do y'all just think after 4 games of seeing things live, this is just who he is? After 4 games, after 4 starts, and a little sprinkled in preseason games, that's just who he is. He'll never be anything better. Because if so, that is the fastest we have ever come to that conclusion on any quarterback in NFL history. If that's truly what y'all feel. If that's truly what y'all feel. If that's truly what y'all feel. If you in your heart of hearts, and I'm gonna say this, all right. For those of you who listen to me on a regular, if you truly feel, if you're in here right now in this chat and you truly feel that you 100% without a doubt know who a quarterback is, what he is and what he isn't, after 4 starts, I have failed you. I have failed you as a content creator. I have failed you as a podcaster. I have failed you as a former professional athlete. Talking about these things, giving you guys different viewpoints, talking about different ways to look at things. If you truly in your heart of heart feel like a NFL player, any NFL player, not even Trey Lance or any, but if you truly in your heart of heart feel like any NFL player after 4 starts is a bust, I put that on me. I have failed you. I have failed you. Here we go. We got Gammon here. He says, where's my emergency locked on 49ers pod? 49ers sure know how to kick off a weekend. They do, huh? We in here live, man. We going after it. We going after it before the game. So now I'm a little less interested in this game. Not really. Still got some good stuff to look at. But I wanted to see what Trey Lance looked like in the game. Kyle just put himself on the clock. I don't think so. I don't think Kyle's on the clock. I don't think he's on the clock. I think Kyle's fine. Kyle has a long leash. He might be one of the few people that can draft a quarterback number 3 overall, trade what he did, not use the guy, and still go to NFC Championship each of the 2 years that guy was on the roster, but not playing and really not miss a step and find Mr. Irrelevant somehow, some way. He comes to your team and he fits into what you want to do. Having to sign Nick Bosa, forced to trade to relieve some. Nah, this trade didn't have anything to do with Nick Bosa. It had everything to just do with 3rd string quarterback making whatever he's making this year, and you made him your 3rd string quarterback, and you have no intentions on really developing him. That I don't think it had anything to do with Nick Bosa. Jimmy Easton says Brock was Purdy's insurance with Brock was Purdy insurance with Trey on the team. Brock was Purdy insurance. Yeah. We got Damon here. He says, after 3 years, Trey still can't hit simple pass concepts on time. That's a problem. For every Josh Allen, there are 10 guys who get drafted high and pan out. Okay, Damon, I got a question for you. Damon. You said after 3 years, Trey still can't hit simple pass concepts on time. Can he not hit simple? And I want you to answer this. And you might have to do a super chat because I got a lot going on here. Do a $2 one or something. I'll even give you the $2 back. But you said that he can't hit simple pass concepts. Can he not hit simple pass concepts on time? Or is he inconsistent with hitting simple pass concepts? Like, did you watch the Broncos game And at no point in his 170 yards that he threw in that game in one quarter, right? He threw for what? 170 yards in one quarter. So at no point in that 170 yards that he threw in one quarter this last preseason game we watched, did you say he did not throw this concept with timing and rhythm? So are you saying he can't do it? Or are you saying there are times where I feel like he should hit this and maybe he didn't pull the trigger? And then if that's the case, then ask yourself, why didn't he pull the trigger? What is he seeing or not seeing? Can he improve on it? So that's the better question. Appreciate the contribution though. This whole situation is revisionist history. Okay. Daniel, thank you for the contribution. You didn't leave a question or comment or anything like that. You gotta leave me something. Gotta leave me something. Here we go. We got Forever Faithful here. He says, didn't say that the way they handled it stinks. I do strongly believe that the way that they handled it from the jump, based on the situation that they put themselves in, stinks. Now, the revisionist history that Damon alluded to, I think is more so about how you say you want to get cheaper at the quarterback position. All right. You say that no matter who we draft in 2021, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing the entire year. So if you feel like he's playing the entire year, no matter what, all right, but you want to draft a quarterback, stay pat at 12 because you still would have had Jimmy Garoppolo under contract the next year if need be. So why not say this? Why not? All right, we got Jimmy this year. We know we have him. Hey, we like these two quarterbacks or three, whatever. If one of them falls to us at 12, we'll take them. If not, we'll roll with Jimmy. Maybe we draft a guy 4th round, or maybe the next year we draft a guy 7th round by the name of Brock Purdy. I don't know. But I feel like, again, that's if I would have known what their thought process was on that. I didn't know. I just thought they were looking for like a guy. But if I would have known, like truly known like how they felt, Jimmy's playing, he's starting the whole season no matter what. These young guys probably can't beat him out, which I understand that. All right. Don't give up 3 first-round picks for anybody. For Trevor Lawrence, for Justin Fields, for Mac Jones, for Trey Lance. Don't give up use 3 first-round picks on any of them. Why would you do it? That's the part that is like, what? That's the part that starts to not like really make sense. Appreciate the dollar from my guy Mark G. Let's go. All right. So stupid, right? I really waited all week to see 5. I know. I just wanted to see what he wanted to, what he was going to do, because I felt like that was his opportunity to, hey man, let me just kind of showcase my abilities a little bit. Let me showcase my abilities. Let me audition for other teams. And the Cowboys said, you know what? Now we'll give up a 4th round pick. All right. Brock was Purdy insured. You said this again. Jimmy, I don't know what this means. Can somebody help me? You did it again down here too. I don't know what this means. Brock was Purdy. Oh, insecure. Why was I saying insurance? Brock was Purdy insecure with Trey on the team. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay, so this time you say insecure. See, before you were saying insure. So I ain't know what was going on. I got you. I see what you're saying. Was Brock Purdy insecure with Trey Lance on the team? I don't think so. Brock Purdy, to me, doesn't come off as a player that's insecure. I don't get that vibe. I don't. It seems like he's somebody that he understands like who he is, what his abilities are. You know, this is a guy that's played a lot of football, started a lot of games at Iowa State. I think he's very confident with his place with the 49ers. I think those interceptions in practice let you know he's very confident with who he is. That's why he's throwing them things and doesn't care who catches it. His offense can catch it, his defense can catch it. It doesn't matter. Right? Like there's no leash on him right now. It's just, I'm the guy. So I don't think he's insecure at all. Damon comes back. He says, correction, doesn't do it consistently enough. And you know what, Damon? I agree. He does not do it consistently enough. My thing is, and this is just how I look at it, right? You know, I train a lot of athletes. I've trained NFL guys, a bunch of collegiate guys. All right. I've trained all guys at all levels. And my thing with them is, hey, mama. Oh, you want to say hi?
Yeah.
All right. Say hello.
Hello again.
Do you want to say hi too?
Hi.
All right. Say what's up, people.
Dada.
Say go Niners.
Go Niners.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Gosh, forgot where I was. But yeah, uh, Trey Lance, he has to be more consistent. That's for sure. How does he get to be more consistent? That's my big question. How do you do that? And I think it's just, man, the more he sees, the more he plays, the more confident he gets, the more comfortable he gets, the more you probably see him do things consistent, or maybe he doesn't. But at least if he has 4 or 5 or really a year more of proof that he can't, like everybody else gets, then I can understand that a little bit more than saying after 4 starts and a few preseason outings, this guy cannot do something. Here we go. We got Will. If Trey plays well and makes this trade look awful, any chance John Lynch loses his job so we can pair Kyle with a GM that keeps him more in check? Great question. Appreciate the contribution. I don't think this is about, like, this is all on Kyle. I think this was Kyle's guy that he wanted to play, and he just misevaluated what his situation was. No. Yeah, kind of. People are so dramatic. Listen to David Lombardi. Lombardi's pretty good. I like Lombardi. I like Lombardi. I think he's a little he has a horse in the race a little bit. At least that's how it came off with the way I was reading everything. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it through the wrong lens. Appreciate the contribution. Hell of 49ers. Let's go. Let's go. The distraction is over, says Raphael. I would say so. I would say, and I came on, I think yesterday, and we kind of got everything off of our chest. And I think I said then, I think this is I think this is the last time that we'll be talking about QB2, QB3. And I think this is officially the last time right now. So yeah. How much of a distraction was it for the team though? Stop. How much of it was it you guys go sit down. How much of it was a distraction for the team though? Because again, I've talked about my times with the New York Jets, and when I was with the Jets, there was the Mark Sanchez, there was the Geno Smith, and it didn't feel like a distraction in our locker room, but maybe it is with the 49ers because they're asked about it. I think the way that these teams are covered is drastically different than when I was playing as well. Faithful Forever says they could have said that now Trey is the high dollar. Okay, here we go. Do you believe Kyle can take us all the way? Honestly, yeah. Listen, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, we're talking about some guys that were Jimmy Garoppolo missed throw to Emmanuel Sanders away from winning the Super Bowl. So do I think it's a little bit more difficult when you don't have that high-powered quarterback that, Mahomes, Josh Allen, hell, even what you got from Jalen Hurts. I think that was really big time, right? Joe Burrow, but everybody wishes Justin Herbert. Everybody wishes they had quarterbacks like that. So the 49ers not having that, that's really a third of the NFL that don't have those caliber of quarterbacks. Can you figure out how to win around that? And I think the 49ers have built a tremendous team that does know how to do, all the right things. They're coached extremely well. So the 49ers, can they win it all? Like, can Kyle win it all? I think so. For sure. For sure. We got Daniel in the chat. Appreciate the contribution. Let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go. We got Diavion Bennett? D Bennett. That's what I'm going to call you, D Bennett. Not a Cowboy fan, but I do think if Trey ever ends up starting for them, they won't be halfway in, halfway out like you were saying yesterday. So I think that was kind of like the bigger issue with the San Francisco 49ers and Trey Lance, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I've talked about me with my gym, right, and owning the business. And, it's like I podcast and, I'm training athletes. So I'm doing all these different things. When you're not all in on one thing, it's extremely difficult, especially for something that's like from the ground up. It's extremely difficult for you to get the most out of that situation. And I feel like the 49ers were always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Now, they could say, well, in 2022, they went all in on playing Trey Lance. If they went all in, then why'd they bring Jimmy Garoppolo back? Why didn't they just cut him? Why didn't they trade him away like they just did Trey Lance? So clearly they weren't all in. And for young quarterbacks, You kind of need that. You need that support. You need that ability to not have to play as tight as we've seen Trey Lance have to play. Like Trey Lance has to play tight because every throw he misses, it's documented. And there's very few quarterbacks that have that type of pressure on them right now. Matter of fact, he might be the only quarterback that has that kind of pressure on him to where any throw that Trey Lance misses, it gets documented. All we heard all offseason was about, oh man, well, Trey Lance, he missed the easy throw in practice today. He missed this easy throw. And it's like you hear more about that than the 80% of the passes that he actually completed in practice and the high level throws and the level throws and all that. You hear more about he missed this 5-yard throw than you do all the terrific throws that he made. So everything was like super documented. And I think with the pressure that he had on him, it was always because I don't 100% have, regardless of what they say, their actions show something different. I don't have the support of them the way that most quarterbacks need. Damon wants to come up for 5 minutes. All right, Damon. I'll put the link in the chat. But only Damon, y'all. Only Damon. Anybody else come on, I ain't bringing you on. But I will bring on Damon for 5 minutes. All right. But anybody else click that link, I ain't letting you on because my wife is already asking me when I'm getting off. Yeah. All right, here we go. So we got Damon in here. All right, real quick, Damon. Let me get through the rest of these super chats real quick. All right, bro. No way Cowboys were the best situation for Trey out there. I think it's a terrific situation for him because, again, it's not so much about him playing right now. What is the long-term commitment on Dak Prescott? How much of the guaranteed money have they paid, right? Is there a scenario where there's like, you know what, Dak is looking weird, whatever in the game? Hey, maybe Dak gets hurt, whatever the case is. But if it happens, guess what? Trey, it'll be an opportunity for him to be able to play. And I like their offense more, at least from what I've seen so far. Kellen Moore, he's gone. So we'll see what their offense looks like this year. But I like their offense. I think Kyle's offense is very specific for a certain kind of quarterback. I don't know if that fits Kyle. I don't know if that fits Trey. Having Trey and Michael Parsons on the same team could be scary in a few years. What do you think, Croc? I'd say pump the brakes on a few years. I think Trey Lance has to get through a year. All right. Trey Lance has to get through this year. Can he get through this year and make some type of improvement to wherever he's at right now that leads the Cowboys to believe that maybe, potentially, hey, this is a guy worth keeping around for a while. All right. So pump the brakes on a few years. Trey Lance got to worry about this year. Jermaine Pickett here. He says, we need Bosa signed now to watch this debacle away. Man, I don't know when Nick Bosa going to sign, but I'm waiting on it too, man. I'm waiting on it too. There's some people that think that he might miss week 1. I'm like, what? He's not missing week 1. San Fran 49er fan says, I've said since the draft, the package for Lance was meant for Watson at first. Then they panicked when that went away. I think part of the panicking is that, and we've heard this before about Kyle Shanahan, he's very emotional and he makes like these decisions like right there in the moment. And I think it was, well, I can't get Matthew Stafford. Okay, I can't get Deshaun Watson because of his situation. Well, okay, let me call for Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I can't get Aaron Rodgers. Okay, well, let's just move it up for a quarterback, even though we have no intentions on playing another quarterback outside of Jimmy Garoppolo this upcoming season. Made no sense. Made no sense. When they first traded up and they went all in for a quarterback, I was just like, well, damn, they're going all in for a quarterback. And their actions in the trade said they were all in. Their actions with everything else after that did not say that. Wow. Interesting. I've seen a lot on social media, people saying, I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on this. And I'd have to agree. Is it me or does this season feel like it's going to have bad juju on it? QB, O-line, D-line, and depth is suspect. Devin, the team is fine. With or without Trey Lance, the team is fine. I get you on the bad juju. The 49ers are going to be fine. The 49ers, and I tweeted this because actually a Cowboy fan prior to the trade going down, unless he knew something. I don't know, but I don't think he did. He put out what the 49ers gave up to get Trey Lance. And he said, y'all okay? Like, basically, he was kind of trolling me. And I'm like, are y'all okay? And I posted the 2 pictures of the 49ers knocking the Cowboys out the playoffs. He like, are you good? You know what I'm saying? We good over here. I say all I had to say. I hear you on the bad juju thing. But regardless of the Trey Lance situation, the 49ers have gone to back-to-back NFC championship games. They win it all? No. But they've been to back-to-back. So, like, they're still going to be good. They're still going to be in the mix. I don't think y'all worry about that. All right, here we go. Hella 49ers back said, like Ayuk said, I'm rocking with Brock. Hey, man, got to. I'm rocking with Brock, too. We got Fear the Great. It says, super chat for the beautiful children. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like, I don't know how much of y'all been to Vegas, but in Vegas, you know, you got the people walk around with the kids and then they be asking for money and stuff. And I feel like anytime I put my kids on video, like that's how I feel. Like I'm the people that to like sympathize. Or you see the homeless people on the side when you exit the freeway and they like just need some money for the kids. All right. I feel like that's what I do when my kids get in the video. Niners front office started Trey's villain arc, and now this guy may ball out on the most hated team. This is pathetic. Kyle Super Bowl or heads roll. Again, Kyle ain't going nowhere. So y'all probably just had to get that. Y'all got to get that out of your head. Kyle's not going nowhere. Kyle's going to be here. 49ers are winning. 49ers are a good team. Before this trade happened, I'd assume the 49ers were probably like top 4 in Super Bowl odds. After the trade happened, I'd assume the 49ers are still top 4 in Super Bowl odds. All right. So heads won't be rolling anytime soon. All right, here we go. We got Jimmy. Croc, enjoyed the show. Sorry about the typos. It's all good. I started to piece it together. So, it took me a while, but I'm like, okay, I see where he's going. Okay. And yeah, I don't think that Brock Purdy's insecure about Trey Lance being on the team, but he's probably really happy. As a matter of fact, everything that they've said about just Trey Lance and the team and everything, like everybody loved Trey Lance. He's like a great person. Antonio C. Brook, what up, man? He says, hearing the excuses during his rookie season for not playing him, I felt like when we never should have drafted him because they screwed him. Here's the thing. Most of the guys, like I talked about a little while ago, Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, he completed 6 out of 17 passes last night. It looked wild. It looked erratic. You won't hear a word about it. You won't hear anything about it. And guess what? The Colts are just going to let him do him and develop and play through things the way he needs to. And that, Trey Lance never got that. All right, Damon. Damon said, Croc, bring me on for my 5 minutes of fame. So we're going to bring Damon on. Hold on. Here we go. I had to put my headset on. I got to put we got the applause. We got the air horns. We got everything ready. I want to hear it. All right. And this is before we get into what Damien was saying. I know the chat's going crazy. I've been missing the chat, reading all the super chats. All right. But Damien basically said, man, look, he's heading into year 3 right now. And he still is inconsistent with reading concepts. Now, I value Damien's opinion. And I think Damien does a really good job of verbalizing that. The one thing you do have to do, Damien, because everybody complains about your volume. You got to somehow bring your volume down a little bit. But Damien, the floor is yours.
Appreciate it, Croc.
Do you want that or you want the air horns? So we got the air horns.
Hey, it's your show, man. It's your world. I just live in it.
Yeah. All right. And here's one thing real quick. Josh Jeter says Anthony Richardson looks light years ahead of where Trey was in his first year. I don't think so. You know why you would think that? Because ESPN. So real quick, and then I'm gonna let you go.
You're good.
I was watching ESPN earlier, and they're talking about Trey Lance, and they just showed like tipped interception, missed throw, incompletion, right? Like they showed him getting sacked. That's what they showed. Like literally, like it was like 4 plays that they kept in rotation. Those plays. No, nothing good that he did, even though last game he threw for 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, whatever, like 3 scoring drives, whatever in the game. None of the good, just the bad. But with Anthony Richardson, even though he's only completed 45% of his passes and he's been very erratic as a passer, first interception, he threw off his back leg. They keep showing the same, like, oh, this was a nice layer throw. Oh, let me show this dropped ball that he did place perfectly downfield on a 40-yard throw. They show the good, but they don't show the lowlights like they do with Trey. So light years ahead of Trey. And again, this is just me saying, is he light years ahead of Trey? I don't think so. I think he's right where Trey is, if not even a little bit lower. I say the biggest difference is he's able to use his athleticism more because he just is more of a freak athlete than Trey Lance. So you definitely see that just from an athletic ability, but from like just making throws and certain things like that, I don't know. But anyways, again, I keep trying to set the table for you. So go ahead, Damon. The floor is yours.
I appreciate that. So one of the reasons that I came on here several weeks ago and gave the somewhat spicy take that Trey Lance wouldn't make the 53-man roster is because I went back and I looked at some of the history surrounding Trey Lance. And this is what I mean about the revisionist history. So if you go back to the very beginning, the narrative around Trey Lance during the first OTAs and first minicamp was that Trey Lance actually looks like he might challenge Jimmy G this year.
Hold on. Let me say exactly too, because there were some other words that were used. Not only did they feel like he would challenge Jimmy Garoppolo that year, and Kyle said that as well.
His rookie year.
Mayoko or Barrows came out and said this is the best rookie quarterback that they had seen in camp for the 49ers. And when did it start going downhill? Do you remember?
Yes, the first time that they practiced against the Chargers in the mutual practices against the Chargers, and then that preseason game following.
No, I think it first started going downhill when Kyle Shanahan, when I think that Trey was riding his high horse. Man, I'm good. I'm in the, confident, whatever. And then to the media, Kyle Shanahan said he has no shot. Like, this is just Jimmy Garoppolo's team. And from there, it started kind of.
So, although I agree with you 100% that did not help, and that probably piled on, but we actually have confirmed reports about what happened. And this is what I mean about revisionist narrative. So there's reports that were confirmed by Kyle that during OTAs and during rookie minicamps, he was literally on the headset telling Trey Lance where to throw the ball, like during the play. And then when they went to go to the Chargers, he asked Brandon Staley, I believe was the coach at the time, he asked Brandon Staley to give him to do something, not just give him vanilla stuff, because he was going to take the mic away from him and see what Trey Lance could do on his own. And it was awful. It was really bad.
I think awful is kind of from what I remember. I
went back and looked at all this. That's why I said what I said 3 weeks ago, that Trey Lance would not make the 53-man roster. I said that before we had one preseason game. I've been consistent about this. And the reason is this. If you go back and look at the reports that came out, the things that Shanahan said, the things that other players have said, Shanahan was spoon feeding him. He was doing really well. As soon as they took the training wheels off, he started to struggle. So they pumped the brakes and said, okay, whoa, this kid's not ready. He also hurt his finger in preseason, which set him back even farther. Okay. Then he was forced into action before he was really ready. And they basically had a game plan of 18 power quarterback runs or whatever the hell they did against the Cardinals, because the 49ers didn't have confidence that Trey could actually just drop back and hit the pass. Now, we all assumed that it was because of the finger injury. It's possible that Trey literally just struggles to do the basic, simple plays, and that's why Kyle Shanahan had the game plan that he had. So if you go into what happened with Houston, okay? So against Houston, he really struggles in the first half. They go into halftime, he comes back out and plays way better in the second half.
When you say struggles, like because I think anybody that just kind of watched the game, obviously, like you could see, like, okay, is Trey Lance a little uncomfortable? Probably. Yeah, but even with him being uncomfortable, he still completed 10 out of 13 passes. There was some tight window throws.
Totally understand.
That was like, but again, when we say like struggles, because when I think of struggles, I think of the first couple drives of the Raiders preseason game. Like, to me, you're struggling, right? And I don't even think it was like that against Houston and live.
No, it wasn't. So when I say struggle, what I'm talking about is if you actually go back and watch that first half, he's not really hitting guys in time and rhythm. He's hitting guys that are open, like really open. Right. He's showing the same deficiency then about kind of having to wait to see it open before he's willing to let go of the ball. And then last year in the offseason, we see the same thing. Every time that we've seen Trey Lance play against other competition that isn't our players and our scheme, and it's not set up for him to be successful, he struggles. He also struggles. There's a huge gap in clean pocket and dirty pocket statistics with Trey Lance. If he has a clean pocket and it's clearly defined, he plays well. It's anybody that thinks that he's an NFL quarterback, right? So when I say that Trey Lance doesn't have a special arm, I'm not saying he doesn't have a good arm. He has an above average arm. He has a good arm. But people are talking about this layered throw, 20 yards that he made. Derek Carr can make that throw. Jared Goff can make that throw. Dak Prescott can make that throw. Which one of those guys have special arm talent? None of them. Okay? So to say that he has special...
My guy Josh Harper, he thinks that Derek Carr has special arm talent. But go ahead.
Man, Derek Carr borderline does have. Derek Carr is probably the best of. And actually, Jared Goff has a pretty good arm too. But when you talk about special arm, you're talking about Mahomes, Herbert, maybe even a guy like it gets really underrated. Kyler Murray actually has an incredible arm also. But special arm talent and really good arm talent are just not the same thing. If you don't see it on time, a good arm can only save you every once in a while. The other problem is that Trey Lance's ball placement has always been bad. He doesn't hit the guys where the ball's supposed to go. Every time, that's why when I say he can't hit a simple screen pass or out pattern, I'm not saying that he can't get the ball to the guy. How often does it hit the guy in the back of his ear hole? Consistently. How often does the ball actually go out front of the guy? Almost never. He struggles to read basic concepts, and then when he finally does see it and makes a decision, he struggles to actually deliver the ball accurately where it needs to be. I'm not saying he can't get a ball to an open guy, but it's the fucking NFL. Sorry for the language. I'm sorry. But I'm so tired of people treating him with kid gloves. It's the NFL. And I'm sorry, but a good arm is not enough. Oh, I'm getting loud. Sorry.
Well, no, I don't mind that. What I'm saying is, I think what you're doing is, and again, I could see how, like, man, certain throws like this should be like this, to be like that. He hasn't played a whole lot. We know that, right? But I would say in the games that we have watched him, there are scenarios where you are 100% correct, and then there are other scenarios where you are 100% wrong, where he has hit guys stride and he has thrown terrific passes. So again, like, my thing with him is how many reps does it take for him to just become more consistent with that? Or is it just this is all he'll ever be? Because I have seen the ones where a guy doesn't have to turn and he hits a guy in stride. And this was a great perfect throw. And you had 3rd and short against the Arizona Cardinals, and he throws it on the outside shoulder away from the DB where Ayuk makes a terrific catch.
That was a great ball. God, that was a good ball.
In great location. Or when against the Houston Texans on a slant and coming out to half, and he throws a dart over the middle to Brandon Ayuk, hits him in stride. Or against the Bears in crazy weather where he slides up in the pocket and throws it and hits Ayuk on a deep crosser in stride. So we have seen, or shoot, just last game, how many times did we see him put a ball on a guy? Timing, rhythm, good. But within that, we also saw the ugly. So that's my thing with just is, if he starts to see it more, if the game starts to slow down a little bit for him, will he be more consistent at doing those things? Or will it always just be for every one great location ball, there's a bad location ball or a terrible miss? And that's what I'm trying to figure out with Lance. So I'm just giving him the time. Romeo, I'm just giving him the time to see, okay, when I get a chance to see him over time, will these things be consistent? Because I can't say that for sure with basically 4 starts, but one of them you didn't even finish 2 drives, and then the other one's in spot duty in preseason. It's really just not enough. It's not enough time for me to make any definitive statement on any quarterback ever. I don't care who the quarterback is. It could be Trey. It could be anybody, right? You can come out and light it up. And what I'm going to say, I can't make a definitive take or have a definitive take on this is who this guy is. Hey, I might be excited. Brock Purdy. I'm excited about what Brock Purdy did last year. But I'm not going to say this is 100% what he is, or these things might not come up again, right? And I would say the same thing for Trey Lance, especially after such little opportunity that, hey, these things right here, because Kyle spoon-fed him coming into the league, a guy who, I don't know, hadn't played any live football in well over a year because North Dakota State didn't play due to COVID. And then the last year he played, he was a redshirt freshman, right? Like, well, that guy, maybe he need to be spoon-fed heading into the NFL because he ain't played in over a year in any live action. And then the first live action was against an NFL defense and the Chargers. That might be kind of difficult for a kid. Like, I don't know. So all I'm saying is, I don't know what he is. I have seen some really good and I have seen some really ugly. And I think the ugly was enough for Kyle to just be like, I don't have enough time for the development that he quite needs, but somewhere else might be a better situation for him. Sitting behind Dak Prescott will likely be a better situation for him. I think in a better offense suited for him. You know, Kyle, great offense for quarterbacks. Just don't think it's for the quarterback like Dak Prescott, like Trey Lance, like Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts would struggle in Kyle. Do you think Jalen Hurts would struggle in Kyle Shanahan's offense?
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd struggle in Kyle Shanahan's offense, but he's an MVP and whatever the hell the Eagles did, right? So again, that's just my thing on Trey. I don't know. Now, if he goes out and we see him in 8 straight games and we don't see any improvement in any areas, then I'll say, you know what? Maybe all right. And even then, it would still be a small ass sample size, even though he's been in the league for years. One of the years he had a broken ankle. The other year he had to sit behind Jimmy G. But even then, I'd say, you know what? We're learning more of who he is, and maybe this is all he's going to ever be. But it's hard for me to say that with any definitive take on it because we haven't seen enough. That's all I'm saying.
So I am totally – so a couple of things I do want to clarify. Number one, I was one of the biggest Trey supporters. I loved it when we drafted him. I was a huge Trey supporter throughout the process. And I said earlier this offseason on this channel that I thought the 49ers' best possible outcome was for Trey Lance to beat out Brock Purdy. Because for him to be good enough to beat out Brock Purdy and then to also have Brock Purdy as our number 2 would have been like, here we come Super Bowl. That's what I thought back in OTAs. The more information that I gathered and the more I went back and looked, it became very clear to me that at the very least, the 49ers don't believe that Trey Lance can operate their offense. Not like eventually he just doesn't have the skill set or whatever to operate their offense. Now, because I know I'm going to get crushed for so much of this, but it's okay. That kind of comes with the territory. Yeah. So first thing I want to make very clear, the 49ers have bungled the entire quarterback acquiring a franchise quarterback situation as bad as any team ever has in the history of the NFL. To pass on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes in the same quarterback class, to then pass on Tom Brady, to then trade a ton of assets to go up to get a guy that looks like might not be able to play, and at the very least, he ain't going to play for you. So they have it is a not borderline, it is clearly a fireable offense under any other circumstance. They're getting bailed out by Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy turns out to be an above average quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years and they win some games and make the playoffs, they're gonna get a chance to fix their mistake. Or if Brock Purdy turns out to be a franchise guy, we don't know, and anybody thinks that they know that Brock Purdy is going to be a franchise guy, is kind of crazy. And I think a lot of people think that I'm like firmly on the Brock train. I see some things with Brock that to me could be special from the neck up. And that's, if you go back and look at all the great quarterbacks, how many of them were run first quarterbacks? Like 2. So the most all-time great quarterbacks, most franchise quarterbacks are not run first quarterbacks. Now, the last 10 years, that's changed a lot. And we have several quarterbacks in the league now. Look at a Kyler Murray. Look at a Lamar Jackson who won an MVP. So there are guys who are more mobile and are playing at a higher level because the way that offense is played has changed. And offensive coordinators are more willing to put an offense around a guy's skill sets. And it might just be that Kyle Shanahan is not willing to build an offense around what Trey does do well. Because I don't want it to seem like I just think that Trey Lance can't play. I don't want it to seem like I don't think Trey Lance is a good person, a good player, or anything like that. I think he hasn't shown to this point special characteristics that would, like, for instance, Josh Allen had multiple special characteristics on the field.
Have you gone back and watched Josh Allen's early games?
Yes, and even when he was playing badly and skyballing and missing guys by 10 yards, he would still go out and make a play trucking a linebacker. He would still go out and make a play with his legs that Trey Lance does not have special running ability. He's an average athlete when it comes to a quarterback position. There's several guys in the league. He gets run down and chased down by defensive tackles, dude. It happened in the last game. He got chased down from behind by a defensive tackle, not a linebacker, not a defensive end. That's tough. So, and he also doesn't have a lot of quickness. And it's more important for a quarterback to have short area quickness than long speed. Hell, Daniel Jones has decent long speed. So,
very good. He's a terrific They're going to say he's sneaky athletic because he's a white guy. He ran for like 800 yards. Like, so you can't say Jones as, he's good.
But he's a significant. There's 10 quarterbacks in the league that are significantly better athletes than Trey Lance, and only 3 or 4 of them are actually considered mobile athletic quarterbacks. There's plenty of guys that are better athletes. He's about the same athlete as like a Dak Prescott, and it's not a great athlete. It's an average or above.
He's a better athlete than Dak.
Maybe, but I'm okay. But they're in the same kind of area of athleticism. Like they're in the same grouping of athleticism.
I think his athleticism is downplayed, and I'm not saying he's a great athlete, but I think when you hear Kyle Shanahan and what I want Lamar Jackson, I could throw like Drew Brees, right? And it's like clearly he is not Lamar Jackson. Excuse me.
Lamar Jackson, yeah.
Clearly he is not Lamar Jackson, right? But he is a guy who, when the 49ers played the Chicago Bears, he led the game in rushing. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about that, right? So like, it's not like.
But it wasn't. It was what? It was. How many yards was it though? It wasn't like he rushed for 80 yards.
No, like close to like 50. What did he do against the Cardinals? Didn't he run for like 80? Like it's not like
he had 18 carries. He had 18 carries and only rushed for like 2.6 a carry.
Yeah, like 16 carries, but for like 80 yards. All right, but
he's not an effective runner.
It's not like he is more effective. Didn't they run a quarterback? What did they run last game?
He's better at scrambling than he is at like actual design runs.
Did they call a design run last game?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look.
They called it.
I was paying attention to his passing last game.
Okay, they called it design run. How many yards did he pick up?
8.
About 12. He got over past the first down. They got called back. But
the holding call. Yeah,
but it's not like he can't. Like it's like they act like he's just this ineffective runner. He's not. And yes, he is better at just being able to scramble, as is like Dak Prescott, and I think he is kind of in that range. But
yeah,
I think it's downplayed because he's not Lamar Jackson or even Jalen Hurts. I would say Jalen Hurts is a better design runner than Trey Lance.
He's a better athlete. He also has better short area movement than Trey Lance. That's my thing. So
I will pull up the videos of him in the NFL showing short area quickness, picking up first downs, like looking good running the ball, but they would flag my page and we got too many views.
Yeah. So he does seem to have really natural instincts when he's running as a scrambler.
Cap was different. Like Cap was, we're not talking about Cap. We ain't calling him.
Cap was an elite runner. Straight line.
His straight line was crazy. I think he has a little bit more wiggle than Cap, but Cap was very stiff.
I think they're actually probably on the same level as far as their short area quickness, because Cap was very stiff in the short area. Also,
I think Trey is better short area than Cap.
Maybe.
But Cap's straight line was arguably the best in the NFL, where Lance is not that. But I think
he's better than Michael Vick. Stop that.
I think he's downplaying the athlete that he is. I think it's downplayed because of how people thought, like, oh, he's going to be this 1,000-yard rusher.
I do think that he didn't necessarily meet the expectation. I mean, I think it's the 49ers' fault again. I think that they they marketed him as this dual threat running quarterback who will eventually become a good passer. And either they were totally wrong on their evaluation or they really set him up to fail because everybody had this expectation that he was going to be a running quarterback who would eventually figure it out, a la Steve Young, a la Jalen Hurts, all these kind of a Josh Allen type who will run around for a while and make some plays and get you some wins, even though it looks ugly. But then he gets to the NFL and it's like, okay, yeah, he's an athlete, but he's just kind of an athlete. And his throwing ability is like, okay, yeah, he's got a good arm, but it's just kind of a good arm. And so if you're that player, you have to be exceptional from the neck up when it comes to seeing what's on the field and I've said this 100 times. The most critical thing that a quarterback can do well or not do well is make decisions and change their mind. You have to be able to decide what you're going to do. And then if it changes, you have to be able to change your mind and make a new decision quickly. That's like the most critical thing that a quarterback does. And he doesn't seem to do that well.
All right, we got Lake City Fresh on, and he says, Croc, reports are coming out that Trey requested the trade right after they told him he was demoted, which, as he should.
Of course. So can I share two pieces?
Hold on, I'm gonna get you off right now because I'm supposed to be having ice cream with my daughters. That's what they was waiting on. So I'm gonna get you off now. I gotta exit the show, but we are gonna be back Monday, not tomorrow. Monday.
I'll try to get on Monday because I have something fiery for the show on Monday.
All right, I got you. Appreciate it.
By the way, I'm 4 for 4.
All right.
I love you, man. This is awesome. Your show is amazing. Shout out to the family. I really appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you. I will say, and I brought my guy Damon on, and look, we can have a disagreement, we can have differing opinions, but at the end of the day, and I tell everybody, like, this show isn't about just 100% what Eric thinks. This show is about, hearing different opinions, disagreeing, being able to talk about it without calling names. Because I see the chat, everybody in the chat, they be going crazy and it's this and that. Man, he has his opinion. He has his thoughts on the information he gathers, and I think he does a terrific job of gathering information and being able to verbalize that in a way to where I even understand what he's saying. Now, our outlook on it, which could be different, which mine is, well, it's been so few games. Can he get better at those things? Because a lot of quarterbacks that I watch, regardless of if they have high level athleticism or not, do they improve over time? And I think that there's only one way to find out: to see him play. So we're going to get out of here right now. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. All right, again, make sure you guys
Like and subscribe this video.
we will be back Monday. All right, because tomorrow I'm traveling to LA to watch USC and San Jose State. Got a couple of kids I train. Oh, wait. I can't exit yet. My bad. I got some super chats to get to. All right, here we go. Happy for Trey, but Dallas, what if it's 49ers with Sam Darnold versus Dallas with Trey starting the playoffs? That would be crazy. I don't see that happening. But you never know. All right, this was Damon. He got a little bit longer than 5 minutes to explain. All right, we got Michael Duran here. He says, in an interview Trey did with Rich Eisen in the offseason, he kept trying to sell Sleep Number. It was weird. It was a weird interview. I think Trey is too much of a salesman and it comes off as fake. Wish him luck. So when they do those interviews in the offseason, they're brought on to actually talk about that, whatever it is that they're selling. So if you remember, what was it, like maybe a couple months ago now, it was Debo Samuel. He was on with some Philly guys, and he came on, his publicist, whatever. He was on there first talking about some product that's paying him to talk about it. And then after that, he gave short answers. All right. So these guys, they get paid for it. Trey guys gets paid by Sleep Number or whatever. And yeah, so he's going to talk about it in the interview. And that's the only way that Rich Eisen got him on. But also what he said is, all I want is opportunity to compete. And there was never a competition. We got Jahali there. He says, if Kyle don't win in the next 2 years, he's gone. If Trey Lance turns out to be good and don't win, he's gone. His tenure will be defined by trade and no rings. I will say this. Again, it might very well be that Trey Lance just fits better in a different offense. And that's what I think. I think that this offense is tough for him and his skill set. I think it would be tough for, like I said, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. I think he is very Dak Prescott-ish. Stronger arm than Dak, slightly more athletic than Dak. I think Dak coming into the NFL a little bit more polished as a passer, but still you saw some of the inconsistencies, especially year 2 when he kind of lost Ezekiel Elliott for 7 games due to his suspension and all that. You start to see like, oh, it kind of needs this run game, kind of needs that, you know, and then we continue to see Dak Prescott over years, like just improve as a passer. 49ers have his number, but outside of 49ers, I think Dak Prescott's pretty good. So he reminds me a lot of Trey. What happened if this is Charles Haley all over again? Charles Haley was damn good for the 49ers. Trey Lance has not been good for the 49ers. Trey Lance has been an upside guy for the 49ers. Trey Lance is Dante Culpepper. I can see that. Trey Lance is McNabb and Steve McNair, athletic rate. Yeah, he is. And those guys are really good, man. McNabb. So not to say that he's those guys as an NFL quarterback, but I could see, just kind of that range and, arm. And McNabb might have even been a little bit better at athleticism. This is a guy to play college basketball as well. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. All right. This game is going to be fun tonight. I'm excited to look at my phone. I haven't looked at my phone. As soon as I saw the trade, I hopped on here. Everybody good? Y'all good? Y'all straight? I missed ice cream with my daughter. All right, so let's see if I can go catch them. Appreciate all y'all. Now I'm going to be out. Get to watch a couple kids I train tomorrow. They play USC. They play for San Jose State. I'm excited about that. Got a kid I trained that goes to Arizona. Get to watch him next week. Love y'all. Hope everybody has a blessed day. I hope everybody's happy. And you know what I'll be drinking? Charles Woodson sent me some of that Woodson whiskey. I'll be drinking some of that tonight before my flight in the morning. But I'll see y'all Monday. I'm out. Peace.